March 31st will be the deadline for countries to join the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank as founding members, and authorities expect around 35 countries to sign up. This week, my colleague He Jian talked to Chun Chang, the executive dean of the Shanghai Advanced Institute of Finance and an investment consultant for the State Council, about the role China has played in building up the organization and the motivations for other countries to join.
So we know there are only a few days before the deadline for the application of the founding partners of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. So far we've received about 30 applicants. So what does this number imply?
It's, I think, more than we initially expected. But I think this shows that there is obviously increasing interest in this concept of building the infrastructure for developing countries, as well as China's more influence in the international financial system.
I believe this bank is mainly for the purpose of countries here in Asia. So what role can those European countries play in the operation and also in benefiting the countries here in the continent?
I think the concept of infrastructure investment is broader. The Europeans want to join, obviously, because they also want to be the suppliers of many infrastructure equipment, building all these related contracts and so forth. I think they also benefit these countries.
In the past few days, we've seen strong, or not really strong, just opposition from the United States. So what was the major reason for U.S. opposition in the first place?
Mm-hmm. I think U.S. had the initial reaction obviously is negative. And then I think it's a mixed feeling, right? The reason is U.S. has been blocking the reform of IMF and World Bank for some years. I think in the U.S. there are also different views about this. The Congress is more against China joining, playing a more important role in the world financial institutions, financial system. Some people in the U.S. government see this, it's very hard for the U.S. to be against this because it just put U.S. in a very bad position. So I think probably U.S. has some, at least part of the U.S. government changed their mind, and they seem to be more accommodating in the past few days.
So do you mean that that's the major reason for the United States to make a U-turn in their decision? They are now proposing the possibility of also being a founding partner of the bank.
That, I think, is difficult. Only a few days left. Right? I think U.S., at least in the government, not in the Congress, probably will not be really against it. Okay. So, but to have U.S. joining as founding member, I think it's going to be difficult. Yeah.
So what about Japan? We heard days ago the foreign minister of Japanese government said that they're going to take a very cautious attitude towards being a founding member of the bank. And is it likely that Japan will also join? Because we've seen some changes in their attitude also these days.
Japan's situation is also similar to U.S. I think in fact, Japan has economic interest in playing some role in this bank, but on the other hand, the politics, especially the U.S. and China and Japanese relationship, has not been so good, and the Japanese is naturally cautious, and this seems to be something China is dominating. So I also think in Japan it's going to be very difficult to change in the short run.
You mentioned dominating, and China is dominating in AIIB because China initiated this bank. Will there be any conflict or potential conflict in the operation of the bank in the future?
It will depend on China, how China set up the rules, and how the governance structure is really structured so that it will be more transparent and will be more clear to the founding members. Looking at the statement by the Chinese government, China actually is not wanting to play too much of a dominating roles, and I want to make this more open platform.
And a lot of people in the media, also critics, they compare AIIB with the existing ADB. So are they competing with each other, or more it's like they are complementary to each other?
there is a huge demand for the infrastructure investment, which the existing institutions like Asian Development Bank and World Bank cannot meet. That's why China is starting this new thing. So I really think it doesn't have to be competing. I really think that there is a huge need. There is not enough supply. China is not in a position to challenge U.S. in this area, right? I mean, I really think China's goal is to helping the neighbors to develop, and this will help China as well. And this will help China to put some of this money, more diversify its foreign currency reserve, and put it in better use than putting, even maybe getting a higher return as well. So I think this is a win-win situation.
And how will the founding of this bank facilitate the internationalization of the Chinese currency?
I think in the short run, most of the thing will still be done in the U.S. dollar, because China is going to diversify using the U.S. dollar reserve China has to do this. But I think in the medium run, I think China will probably use some RMB as a vehicle for the investment and financing. So I think that will help China's currency to become at least a regional acceptance currency, and maybe eventually becoming a global reserve currency.